It's not the exact same thing, but the pizza shop near me makes the best gyros.
Oh. Man, I have not had anything even approaching Mediterranean food in quite a while.
Oh.
Oh yeah, I get Drunken Dwarf and you get Captain Ardav. I see how it is.
Are
I'm just gonna drink my beer in peace.
the benefits is being born as part of the 1%, Graham. Arr.
Yeah, what is this? Welcome back to Cape Quest, everyone. After a frankly embarrassing wait, it's finally time for us to dig into the smithing skill with a couple of the quests that we have coming up. However, before we do that, we do need to stop by the Varrock Museum and get some recognition for the work that we've been doing, and also grab an item that is going to become the bane of my existence. There we go. Okay, yes. So yeah, you just talk to him and tell him all the stories from the quests we've been doing.
And you have an XP lamp, and it goes into Herblore.
Yep, and he gives you some kudos as well, which we have to hit at least 100. So.
Well, it's going to go into Herblore.
Oh.
My Herblore's not 20.
Mine isn't either. Oh no, that's bad. No, I can't deposit it. I was hoping it. I mean, I don't know why it would work differently than the other one, but I was hoping.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, well, fortunately there's nothing like recruitment drive coming up, so I guess I'm gonna have this antique lamp in my inventory for like 3 weeks. Correction, past Graham, you're going to have that in your inventory for 7 weeks. In fact, you're going to get so sick of seeing it there that you're going to hold off on using it until the start of stream, just so you can make a point of getting rid of it. Now that we've received our cursed lamp, it's time for us to tackle the Night Sword quest, so we make our way over to Falador to see if anybody has some work for us. Yeah,
Is RuneScape 3 worth it?
Yes. I will say it is, in a lot of ways, a very different experience, even though it has a fair number of quests in common.
Okay.
It is worth it, and I'm pretty sure I'm solidified on doing a run of that one at some point in the future. Probably gonna take a couple-year break, but like...
Oh yeah.
I'm on board to play that again at some point.
Because I have never experienced it, so...
It's time.
Yeah, it is, the combat actually is closer to, like, what you expect from an MMO.
Okay.
And, the plot is much more... I don't want to say in your face, because that has negative connotations. It's a lot more prominent. As luck would have it, one of the White Knight's squire lost his family heirloom sword and really needs some help getting it replaced before the knight finds out and there are consequences. It turns out, though, that it's a very special sword that had been made by the Imcando dwarves, who have mostly gone extinct at this point. In fact, nobody knows if there are any left. Now, this quest came out a long time before Beneath Ice Mountain, and we actually happen to know that there is an Imcando dwarf left, but it's not the right one for the quest, so we can't go talk to them. Instead, we need to make a trip to the Varrock Library. Reldo the librarian tells us that there's only one known Imcando dwarf left south of Port Sarim, or so he's heard, and that they have a huge fondness for red berry pie. So, with that in mind, and after a lengthy discussion of the Dune books that you can find on my other channel, we make our way down there. Thurgo the dwarf, after a little bit of buttering up with the pie, tells us that he'd be more than happy to make a replica of the sword, he just needs to know what it looks like. So, we need to go and grab a picture of the sword. Sneaking into the room of the White Knight whose sword we're trying to replace, we're able to steal a family portrait that shows off the sword. And Thurgo tells us that he should be able to make it no problem with 2 bars of iron, but there's an extra metal in the hilt that we have to go get for him. It's called blurite, and fortunately it can be found in a nearby cave. Sorry, I just examined a crab. just like a normal little crab, and its examen is, no one likes crabs. How rude. Unfortunately, that cave is full of ice monsters, and, well, we got a little lucky here, because normally it can be very dangerous to go in there at low level, but we were able to get in and get out with very little trouble.
Wow, Graham, look at the skeletal wyverns.
What about them?
They're adorable.
I was going to say, yes, they are beautiful and majestic creatures. I see no problems here.
You know, if they didn't walk like chickens.
Hey now, those chickens have an ice breath that will absolutely destroy you if you come in unprepared. To be fair, I think there's also an evil chicken in the game that will also destroy you if you go in unprepared. With the materials we provide, Thurgo is able to create a perfect replica of the sword, and we take it back to the Squire for a quest complete. The next quest on our list is Sleeping Giants, which is completely new to all of us. We head over to the east of Al-Kharid to the Giants Plateau and find what looks to be a hill giant settlement. We punch a random giant that was just minding its own business, because I guess that's just the kind of people that we are, and it asks for our help with restoring a workshop where giants apparently used to make their own weapons. It seems that a long time ago, the giants were much more advanced than they are in present RuneScape. And for some reason, they just forgot over time. So, did there just used to be an entire giant civilization?
I'd say this is actually like a thing in the Pathfinder lore.
Interesting.
Where the Cyclopses used to have an entire civilization, then an apocalypse happened, like, prior to the start of the, like, normal, like, canon. And as a result, you can find just a bunch of old Cyclops stuff lying around, but all of the actual Cyclopses have just lost their sense of language and everything.
Oh, yeah, that is sad, and I'm also very interested to see where this quest is going.
Right?
Also, Kat posted a link to the album in chat, so if you want to check that out,
Nice.
highly recommend it. It is some fantastic music.
This is... I have been following the guy who wrote this on TikTok for like a couple years.
Yeah,
He's incredible. I've been so hyped for him to start releasing parts of Epic. I really hope it gets like staged one of these days, because it's supposed to be a musical.
Yeah, that would be... I was going to say, it definitely felt like a musical.
Mm-hmm. It's a musical, but there's no dialogue.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be entirely song.
Also, I really like what I've heard of Odysseus's character. Much better than the original story. Quickly repairing the facilities in the forge, we're asked to make a sword as a gift for the giant's friend. He gives us some material to use and walks us step by step through the process. This quest actually functions as a tutorial for the minigame that this unlocks. And I have a feeling we might be seeing more of this later when it's time to train our smithing.
Use the trip hammer while the heat bar is in the red and reheat it in the lava whenever it's close to yellow. What does this mean?
Oh, okay, so you see the bars that popped up?
Mm-hmm.
The bottom one is your progress. The top one is your heat gauge.
Okay.
So while the bottom one is in red, you want to be using the trip hammer. But you also want to watch your heat gauge, because once that goes down into the yellow, you want to put it back in the lava. Okay. Oh, and then, yeah, I guess once you have it full on the trip hammer part, you have to cool it down to yellow.
Yeah, and then you'll be balancing... the grindstone is actually going to heat the weapon up, and you need to use the waterfall to cool the weapon down, and then go back to grinding.
Okay, yeah, they found a way to make this actually really cool. Like, there are a lot of moving parts, and it's a little daunting at first, but I do really like this so far.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like a pretty solid experience, too.
Yeah, I've already leveled up all at once.
Okay, I see how this works now. messed up a little bit initially there, but
Yeah. I was gonna say, it is definitely very, very daunting at first glance, but it's starting to make sense now. Yeah, this definitely seems like a good way to train smithing.
I mean, my smithing's gone from 6 to 33 today.
Very nice.
yeah, that's pretty good.
With our sword finished, we turn it in with mixed results. Definitely a sword. Yep. And that is another quest complete. The last thing we have to do today is to go visit another abandoned workshop in a different part of the world. Seer's Village, just to the west of Camelot, is mostly known as that city where you go if you really need bowstrings. But for our purposes, there's something hiding in the blacksmith.
Why? Why is it like this?
Oh no.
Did I lose you too?
I opened a skill guide, and of course my character can't walk and read at the same time.
I mean, I can definitely not walk and read at the same time.
I
Okay.
can.
Where do we actually...
Over here.
House southwest of the... Oh, right. I really should have just looked... I really should have just looked at the, quest icon on the map. Read the Battered Book? Yes, I would love to start Elemental Workshop 1. The Battered Book tells the story of a workshop that used to be here in Seer's Village that found some form of very magical ore that was used extensively early in the history, but unfortunately, they discovered how dangerous it could be, and the workshop was destroyed, along with most of the evidence that it even existed in the first place. The book in our hands notwithstanding. Using the key that we find sewn into the cover of the book, we're able to access the workshop. It's time to get this thing up and running again. Yeah. I always really liked the Elemental Workshop quests. I was sad
Me too.
I don't think they ever did an Elemental Workshop 4.
They did. I think it's
Oh.
5 that they didn't do.
Wait, they did a 4?
Yeah.
I got a 4.
What even would 4 be? Because
It was
3...
chaos equipment. It was cosmic and chaos equipment. We did
right,
this.
we did. I remember now. Our first task is to get the water in the water room running again, which is just as simple as turning a couple valves and hitting a lever. Hopefully all of them are this easy. Yeah, honestly, the Elemental Workshop quests are always really cool, and I'm always happy when they do more of them. Even if the gear is rarely great. Yeah.
It has its uses. There's
Yes.
certain Slayer enemies that you need an elemental shield for, right?
Yeah, Skeletal Wyverns.
Oh, yeah.
With the water flowing again, we need to give it something that it can power. So, we very quickly patch up the bellows and get those started blowing. Of course, you can't really use a forge without something to smelt, so we go and poke some earth elementals that just happen to be carrying the ore we need. Pretty sure I'd also be grumpy if somebody woke me up from a nap and started casting spells in my face, but you know what? We got a quest to finish. And the last thing that we need to do is to just take some lava in a bowl that we have to scoop with our bare hands for some reason, use that to turn on the forge so we can melt down the elemental ore, and use that to create a shield. And that is quest complete. And that concludes today's tour of all the various workshops that lay buried just beneath the surface. Be sure to tune in next time when everything goes wrong, and make sure you hit the subscribe button and that notification bell so you'll be notified when that goes live. Anyway, as always, thank you so much for joining me for this video. I hope you had as much fun with this one as I did making it, and I will catch you in the next one.